Coming up, a Sad Styles production.
Get into it.
So, Andrew, we're 3 weeks now into this super month of Mario.
Oh, yeah,
which is a great name for
Pretty
it.
good.
We should have called it that from the beginning.
Yeah, wow, that was so easy for you.
So easy for me. Movies out. We've reviewed that.
Yeah.
Massive monolith of an episode that we put out there. But we haven't spent a ton of time talking about like the most important part of Mario, which is the frickin' games.
The games.
Games meant a ton to you, right?
I know. A ton. I've always loved playing Mario games.
Same with me. I can't ever wait to go back to a new Mario game. So I think, we've been moving things around and playing coy. I think
time to do it, eh?
Now's as good a time as any to get to maybe the most significant Mario game in my life.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So Super Mario Bros?
Maybe next week, but for now we're going to take a look at Mario Teaches Typing this week on the Retrograde Podcast.
Welcome to the Retrograde
Video Game Podcast, where this week we learn typing from our very good buddy Mario.
Yeah, who's canonically very little. We learned that last week. My name's Andrew Bascom. It's a me, Andrew Bascom, and with me, as always, the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself. It's a you,
Mikey ASDF Aaronworth.
Yes, very good. I'm very excited just based on the name. I know very little about this game. I'm going to claim that right now, but I'm very excited to be on the podcast and to show everyone how bad I am at typing.
Oh, you know what? When we were setting this up, and obviously the game that we're focusing on today is Mario Teaches Typing. It's a 1992 game by Interplay. It came out on MS-DOS and PC, and in 1995, it finally made its way to the lowly Mac console. And I'm excited to do it, but as I was setting up, I was sitting there like, you're a pretty competitive person,
sure,
Andrew.
Yeah.
And I'm Mikey, and we are the two greatest video game journalists that you've never heard of.
Hey, how you doing?
I was thinking, you as a competitive person, I'm like, is this going to become a thing where we're like, how fast at typing are we? Are we going to were we going to get into it?
Oh, I think so. I think this, and it's also like, this is a classic.
But you just said that you're a slow typer.
I don't think I'm an accurate typer.
Oh, okay,
I don't.
okay.
Also like the Mavis Beacon thing, which everyone did as a kid and whatever. And you're doing the thing, and I'm going to keep my hands thing, and then very quickly you're like boop 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 boop.
Yes,
boop, and just with two single fingers. Excuse me if you're not watching us on YouTube. And just because you're lazy, and also I don't have to write paragraphs anymore. To the most I have to write at any one time is a single paragraph on Slack or email or something like that. And that, whatever.
I still have to write and type quite a bit.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
What do you do for a living?
I am a copywriter.
Oh.
I copy people's writing and then I put it on my Substack and sell it as my own.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. It's going gangbusters.
ChatGPT has been the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. I'm like, can you write this article? I'm too lazy.
I heard something really interesting today, and we'll get into the game in a little bit. And actually, we're returning to the classic format of the Retrograde Podcast, where we take a look back at one of the games that, well, in this case, neither of us have played it, but a game that had some sort of sentimentality or allure to it back in the day. We're going to play the game, and then we're going to rate and review the game both as it held up, or as it stands as an old game, and how it holds up in the modern day against the likes of modern games. Haven't done this in a while. I'm excited to do it. Last time I think was our Fight Night episode.
Wow, is that really? That's how long it's been?
It's been about a month or so. But the remind me what I was saying before that.
You type a lot for a job. ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. I heard something interesting on a podcast recently where they said that the more ingrained AI gets, and the more we let it find solutions for us, the less the companies which develop those programs are going to know why the answers that the AI have given those answers. Because it's kind of like procedurally generated. They're kind of borrowing from a lot of different places. So they know the kind of protocol that exist behind the scenes. Yeah. But in the same way, if you ask a programmer on TikTok, why did I just see this video? They can say, well, you may have seen some similar ones, but they're never going to be able to tell you why that one showed up on your screen at a specific time. So it's this weird kind of like hands off, like, hey, I don't know why our program is doing the things. Like, imagine how pissed off Congress is going to be at shit like that.
Oh, I know. It's insane because you're already starting to see the stuff of like, we don't know what's fake. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Totally cool. And it's the same thing with ChatGPT, where it's like, I'm very fascinated, where like very recently the kind of famous, I don't know, it was like a month ago or something like that. The famous one of ChatGPT tried to like make me break up with my wife.
Oh,
and, whatever. And it's like, well, it's not really, that's not the way it works.
Yes.
It doesn't have feelings.
It was mimicking the story of an AI gone rogue.
Exactly.
Kind of. It's borrowing from all of those.
It's drawing it from things that already exist that are trying to do things. So, and then we shape that into feelings because we do that all the time with everything. We do it with animals. We do it with like plants and stuff like that. Like he's grumpy today. And you're like, no, it's a plant.
But did you play at Metallica? Because I don't know if you know this,
Oh yeah.
but if you play,
But they like classical music, I thought.
if you play Bach
Yeah.
to a plant, let's call it
Are
a
you
snake
okay?
plant. Let's call sorry, Tchaikovsky. If
Yeah,
you play
there we
Tchaikovsky
go.
to we'll call it snake plant. We'll call it a
was
bird
the
of
only play you knew,
paradise.
right? Oh,
Bird of paradise.
Bird of Paradise. Okay.
Hibiscus.
Okay.
Hydrangea.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. You're naming more
Got
plants than I
a
thought. Even though you
cacti.
look terrified every time you say one out loud.
I don't know when I open my mouth if
Yeah.
the next thing I'm going to say is going to be a plant
Yeah.
or a scream.
Another classic composer.
Scream?
Well, I thought you were just going to name another classic composer.
Oh, no, no,
No,
thanks.
that's Edward Munch's The Scream. It's a painting.
Well done.
fool.
Was he related to Robert?
Yes, he was. Great,
Of course. I love you forever, Robert Munch. And
A truly devastating book.
truly devastating.
A devastating book that as a kid, even I was like, oh my God, this is horrific. And
Yeah.
now I'm getting older. I'm like, oh my God.
I think between I Love You Forever
Yeah.
and a Lion King,
Okay.
The Lion King.
Yes.
Those are like the two reasons why I will never be a full adult until my parents die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like I love my parents so much.
Right.
But I'll never be a full adult until they're no longer in the picture.
Right. Are you going to do that to your brother? As like a
Kill
thing?
him?
Yeah. Let him die.
Do you think I need to?
Need to is an interesting way of putting
Yeah. Do you
it.
think I have to become the one true Aaronworth?
Pros and cons, pros and cons. Yeah. And of course, we're talking about the co-host from the Jackass podcast. So everyone listen to that.
Absolutely. Andrew, I want to talk before we get into Mario Teaches Typing. I want you to teach the listener about some of your gaming habits over the last couple months. We didn't talk about the games we've been playing last week because we spent a ton of time talking about the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Actually, before you get into the games, a week has gone by.
Yeah.
Almost a full week at this point.
Yes.
Exactly a full week at this point.
Exactly
A week ago today, we were 45 minutes into, as of
Wow.
recording,
Amazing.
into watching
Like clockwork.
the movie. Little bit of distance.
Yeah.
Any new thoughts on the Super Mario Bros. Movie?
Yeah, you know what? Yes. And not my own, like not my feelings, not what I'm like, oh, I liked it much more. I didn't like it.
So you're
as-
chat GPTing this response.
100%.
basically.
I'm just drawing it from other people.
okay.
What did everyone else think? That's what I think. It's safety in numbers. It made the most amount of money
of any animated
of
movie.
any animated opening of all time. So
It actually, I don't know if you knew this. It made the most amount of money ever.
really,
Of-
just period.
Period.
Wow. Okay. Speaking of periods, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret is coming out as a movie coming up soon. So
Is that a period? What's the period? What's the period
about-
have to do with
it's about
that?
a women's menstrual cycle?
A woman's menstrual cycle.
Women's menstrual cycle.
Hmm.
It's an important book that a lot of young women read.
What did God say to Margaret?
Deal with it.
You're about to turn into a red panda.
Things are going to suck for the next 40 years. I hope you're going to just deal with it.
Listen, I made things pretty unfair for you.
yeah. Over and over and over again. Life's going to be pretty awful to you. Well, see you later. It's like, well, what's the pro? Oh, yeah, right. Okay, I'll see you later.
I figured my son was treated pretty bad, so I figured all the women from then on had to. By the way, women didn't have periods before my son was put on the cross.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But do not sit in furniture after a woman that's had her period has been sitting on it. And other crazy things that the Bible teaches.
That's Old Testament, right?
Yeah, I would think so, yes.
By the way,
Yeah.
Jesus, was he a Nepo baby?
He is the first and most important Nepo baby.
The best as well.
I would say so.
best.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should do with all Nepo babies what we did with Jesus. And
What's
by
that?
we, I mean the Jews.
Crucify us?
Yes.
Come here, Kylie Jenner. We got something to talk to you about. Yeah, so the movie, pretty much my review in short strokes, if you didn't listen, but please do listen.
And those are the only strokes I can make.
Absolutely. Other than the band, but is that the movie, while is not great, I don't think is like an atrocity, and I think was aimed for children.
Yes.
And I thought was mostly to grow the people playing Mario, and mostly for children. I think all of those in that way will think that if that is a way Nintendo thought, they'll think, hey, we did it, guys.
Yeah.
Great job. High fives all around kind
Yeah.
of thing. I think the thing that I've been kind of revisiting in my head is we talked. If you also want to go back and listen to last week's episode, every time we mentioned Sonic drink, I can't believe how many times we mentioned Sonic the Hedgehog. Almost immediately.
Sonic did it better.
See, here's the thing. This is where I disagree with, and I don't think I made my point clear enough last week. Is that what I really did respect about the Mario movie, even though I didn't really love it, is that it just made a movie about the game. It made a movie with
Yep.
the characters, kind of in the same earnestness of the game, with the same kind of color palette and the same everything. And I think in that way, it's pretty commendable to be that earnest in this era. Like, I think everything is so much easier to poke fun at yourself and to Mario didn't. It just was kind of the way it was. And it's kind of a movie version of the game in a lot of ways. And I think there's something commendable to that. That's kind of what I want to talk about.
It is. I haven't really thought about it that way, where it kind of, there was some weird self-referential comments. There was like a 15-minute stint, which we already talked about in the last week's episode. So I get that, but no, you're right. They aimed to be a movie version of the game, and they succeeded. Whereas Sonic was a lot more self-aware and being like, "What if Sonic weren't in a video game?" That kind of thing. The way I've kind of come apart from the Super Mario Bros. Movie is I'm actually much more forgiving of it now.
Interesting.
But I have stopped saying to other people that they have to see it. I'm like, you know what? Make your own call. It's not required viewing.
No.
However, and you were kind of, when we had our conversation, you were the one who convinced me of this because I wasn't seeing it this way.
Okay.
I forgot that not everything in this world is made for me, which, by the way, is unfair.
Yeah, I was going to
It's
say.
almost as unfair as, hey, God, it's me, Margaret. What the fuck is going on in my pants? That's
100%.
the
It's
name of
almost
that
as
movie.
unfair is that I don't have a famous father and he's not God.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And I have a period.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And a man. It's really all over the place.
Really all
man.
over the place. But no, it's not made for me. It's made for kids. And as a kid's movie, I'm like, this is awesome. Like, if I were a kid, and I did end up saying this on last week's episode, if I were a child and that were the Mario movie that I got instead of John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins, I would have been like, this is perfect. Pitch perfect.
Think about the number of weirdos. And if I'm talking about you at home, you are a weirdo. The number of weirdos, they're like, the 1993 whatever movie wasn't that bad. You're like, that is insane. That's an insane take.
I've heard a lot of people say you should watch that movie instead of Super Mario Bros, the new one.
I don't know what to tell. I can't help you. Go to therapy. Like, I don't know what to.
How contrarian do you need to be?
You know what? Here's my least favorite thing. I love movies. You love movies. We like talking about movies. We sneak it in as much as possible. The number of cult classics that exist now that were once unsuccessful. Ooh, hello. That would have helped that movie. Those two just banging.
Talk about my 20s, Andrew.
Hello, God. Is the number of cult classic movies that we now put a title onto these movies because they were once not successful.
Yeah.
And now we have enough people that grown up with them. They're like, you should watch it. You know what? No, we can't do this with everything, guys.
Okay. Distinction between that, though. There are good cult classic. The Warriors, for example, was never a good movie. Wasn't well received when it first came out, but enough people kind of like carried its banner to the point where now it's looked back upon much more fondly. Herman Melville was like H.P. Lovecraft were two authors who were very unsuccessful while they were alive and then found success afterwards because enough people were like, no, guys, we should pay attention to these things. However, what you're talking about is like the Star Wars Episode 1 thing.
Yes.
Where they're like, this is actually really good.
So Mike and I are in our 30s and it's only going to get worse because more young people will now grow up and going like, you know what? Like The Secret Life of Zach and Cody. Or The Sweet Life, I guess, or whatever it is. Like, you know what? It's a real banger. And you're like, and I'm going to look at them like, what are you talking about? What's happening? And I'm going to be baffled by this information.
The idea of like a Gen Z professor calling Zach and Cody a banger, just like with his patches on his elbow or her patches on her elbow and her menstrual cycle.
Everyone's wearing cardigans, having periods.
No, so that's good. I think we can kind of put a button on the Super Mario Bros. Movie at that point. There's not much more we can say about it.
It exists. It's very successful.
Yeah.
That's what I got for you,
Curious to see what Nintendo does with this success.
Yes.
I doubt they're going to walk away from it at this point. They're looking at Disney and Marvel and the ways that they thought you could never bring Star Wars and the Marvel comics to the screen the way that they did. And they're like, you know what? Let's become the next one of those conglomerates, which will be fucked. They'll get bought by Disney and then... Could you imagine?
They've talked about that, eh? Like that has been a thing out there.
That's wild.
But I think the Illumination partnership has kind of ended that talk.
Yeah.
But that was a long-standing thing when Bob Iger took back over Disney. They were like, his success was the merging of Star Wars, purchasing of Star Wars, 20th Century Fox to get Star Wars, and to Marvel.
Yep.
And they were saying like, what's the next big thing? And so people were like, well, and that's where EA came in a couple times.
Yeah.
And
well, Disney Infinity, I think it was, that kind of
Yes.
started to blend these properties together. together.
I will say before we just get off movies, so Star Wars, it is funny how far it's
I've heard
fallen.
of it.
When we started talking, especially on this podcast years ago, Star Wars did the first introduction into like new movies. And I think we even had like mushroom clubs devoted to stuff and, you know, whatever.
Speaking of mushroom clubs, by the way, we haven't shouted this out yet, but Tetris, the Tetris movie, we're finally going to spill the beans on that on our over on the mushroom club. Yeah.
They just
Patreon.com/Great Podcast.
There you go. Absolutely. They just announced 3 more movies. The Star Wars movies.
Yep.
And it is so funny to put that from whatever 6 years ago or whatever it was. Not even 6 years ago, but 2-3 years ago when they were doing the Taika Waititi movie, whatever. And people are like, oh my God, more movies. None of them came out.
No.
And then now they're like more movies. And you're like, and everyone now has this like cross-armed, like, okay.
I'm tepid.
Oh
and
my gosh.
I'm someone who liked episodes 7, 8, and 9.
Yes.
7, 8, 9. Yeah.
7, 8, 9. Yeah.
And I've just again, I've got this Marvel fatigue. I'm not convinced yet that they're all going to be good. In fact, we know that a lot of the properties are actually not good. We're midway through The Mandalorian season 3, which is a fucking slog. Obi-Wan was god awful.
Book of
Boba Fett was terrible. Andor, unbelievable. Give me more Andor.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I know. And so you hope you get more of that. But, you know, it's just funny how far it's fallen, where it's like Star Wars, we were so excited for stuff. And they're like, they're going to come out 1 a year. And here we go.
Yeah.
And now it's like, we got 3 more movies. You're like, I don't know. We'll see when they come out.
Yep.
Like,
I hear ya.
My God.
Well, look, we spent more time than we expected talking about the Super Mario Bros. Movie. But maybe it's time then to get into Mario Teaches Typing. We're here to talk Mario. Let's continue talking about Mario.
Can we please?
We'll update our gaming progress in the next episode. I've got some new games to talk about. I've been talking about some of them on Twitter. So go follow us there if you want some quick updates there. What are you about to say?
I'm playing MLB The Show in Fortnite. I'll see you next week.
There you go.
And guess what my answer is going to be? Oh my God. There is a Pavlovian response to smiles. I'm like, oh, hey,
someone hit
great.
a dinger.
Something good.
Someone hit a
hope that ball dropped. No one caught it because that would be bad. I understand baseball.
So let's talk about Mario Teaches Typing, Andrew. It came out in 1992, as I mentioned, developed and published by Interplay Entertainment, released on Mac in 1995. What?
Keep bringing that up.
Well, because Mac's a terrible garbage console. I'm just saying it's why do we have them?
For PC for gaming?
Yeah.
I can't agree with you more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you agree with me more?
I'm trying to think of the last thing that you and I were so full-throated agreement.
What if I put this pile of money over here? Could you agree with me a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely.
And speaking of full-throated.
What do I have to do for the money now? What do I have to do for the money now? Uh-oh. I don't like this. I'm trying to think of the thing that you and I have agreed the most on recently, and that would be the thing I couldn't agree with you more.
That Macs suck for gaming.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
For sure. As a guy that's had Macs for the last, 15, 20 years.
Mighty Macs.
Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about Mario Teaches Typing. This is, I think earlier I said Mario Teaches Tennis, and I apologize for that because he's not doing that in this game.
That'd be a hell of a game.
It would be.
Yeah. Is he gonna try to sleep with my wife or something like that? Andrew,
is he gonna try?
He's like the local no. Player one wouldn't put in much of a fight. I think
he wouldn't have to try very hard.
She's a huge Chris Pratt fan.
You sound different. Let's go. Okay, so 3 playable characters.
Oh,
the 3 playable characters:
Mario,
yes;
Luigi,
yes;
Princess Peach,
Andrew. The Mario All-Stars from NBA Street Volume 3 have returned.
Nailed it.
There are multiple levels with increasing difficulty.
That makes sense.
The first level, you're typing letters and symbols only. This is the typical, like, you see Mario running across the screen and there's a block and it has an S. You press S, he jumps and hits the block.
Okay.
There's a little Goomba. You press A, he butt stomps the Goomba.
Can I talk about Goomba for a second?
Yeah.
Always sounds like a slur in my mind.
It 100% does.
Especially as an Italian American that he's jumping around in their Goomba, and I'm like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me feel comfortable.
But at least he's beating them. He's beating the stereotypes.
Yeah.
He's stomping on them.
Yeah, that's a good... Oh, yeah, right. Okay, so in that way, he's owning the... Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes me feel better about it.
Great.
Thanks.
I'm glad
thanks.
I feel like lighter.
I think this podcast just overcame racism.
I think we should discuss racism more on this podcast.
I really think that's a bad idea.
I think let's get into it.
No, I think that's a terrible idea.
First of all...
least favorite.
Least favorite. I'm just going to say a race off the top of my head and you tell me what you don't like about them, okay?
It'd be great. Least favorite. And just cop out and you're like, white people. You're like, nice. And that is the end of the discussion. We shake hands, nod, walk in 2 different directions.
And then we're walking, I turn around, I'm like, but the Asians. No, Mikey, no.
Never been crazy about Thai people. That's what? the hell is going on?
Sure, they can kickbox, but can they run a country? You're like, what? No, Jesus Christ.
Stereotypes right off the top.
They can kickbox.
I'm no doubt that they can kickbox.
All of them.
Oh, yeah.
They can all kickbox.
It's like Swiss mandatory military service.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like homeroom, math, then kickboxing.
Math, kickboxing, and then
Social studies.
and then peanut butter noodles.
Yeah.
Pad
Are
thai.
you just naming the only things you know about Thai people?
I don't know much.
Then I would just not get into it.
Okay, that's a good idea. Well, listen, I said we should talk about race a little bit more.
Butter noodles.
Peanut butter noodles.
Yeah, okay.
Pad thai. I mean, I think that's.
God. You seem like a make pad thai with ketchup kind of person.
I was in Montreal once,
Okay.
and they had.
I believe you.
They had. All right, that's the end of the story.
Yeah.
They had a stand. You know how like in Toronto we have a bunch of places. We have hot dog stands like sausages.
Sure, yes.
They had a stand that was selling peanut butter chow mein.
Oh, that's amazing.
It was unbelievable.
I wish we have a very oppressive local government that only allows hot dog vendors.
Yes.
For the most part, you have to have hot dogs, which great. I love a good street
Sure.
hot dog. But if there was some variety and you're walking by and you're like, whoa, they're serving blank. I don't even know. What would be the thing I'd most want? But it depends how many drinks I've had in me.
That's true too.
Yeah, it's like a churro stand. You're like, hello.
Poutine.
Yeah, poutine stand. It shouldn't be that hard. Well, fryers might be tough. But yeah. We're really breaking this down.
Just like Mario Teaches Typing breaks down words into symbols in the
Yeah.
first letter.
Love it.
The second level is you type words, and the more you type, I think is a swimming level. You type, Mario stays ahead. There's one of those little fish chasing after
Yeah.
him. In the third, you're in one of Bowser's castles, and you have to type out full sentences.
Oh, no.
Paragraphs, all this stuff. And ultimately, this is, as it sounds, very Mavis Beacon-esque.
Yeah.
But
Another fictional character.
another fictional character, yes.
Yeah, two fictional characters.
Which is who was also voiced by Charles Martinet.
Oh, yeah, really?
Yeah, they both were. It was really strange.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
And in that sense, like, did you have a game that you grew up playing that was teaching you typing?
Mavis Beacon, but I know that's not a game, technically. I think it's more of
sorry, not even a game, but like a computer program that you would use to learn typing.
100% Mavis Beacon.
Yeah.
And also just if everyone's watching Abbott Elementary out there, where they should be, it's really funny. It's a very cute show. It's bringing sitcoms back. But there's a character on there named Mrs. Howard, who is such a dignified older woman who is so wonderful. She speaks so incredibly intelligent. I always imagined I wanted her to be Mavis Beacon now.
Oh.
I'm just saying, she has a wonderful voice. And I don't know. Ever since I learned Mavis Beacon is not real, I feel like a huge part of my childhood is a lie.
Yeah.
Like, who's next? My father? Don't answer that question,
Didn't
please.
want to get into this right now, but well, your mom and I go way back.
Oh, my God.
We go way back.
My mom's a criminal.
Well, so here's what happened.
Yeah.
Um,
Just because based on your age.
well,
Or
yeah,
she stole
because
stuff, I don't
we're close to the same age.
Yeah.
Your mom and my mom,
Mhm.
and this is true.
Okay. That's always, anybody that was telling a true story, they have to say that.
You have to, otherwise, it's like an undercover cop.
It's
thing.
like a cop.
Yeah, yeah, you
which
have to say
can't
it.
be real.
They were scissoring.
Okay.
Your mom and my mom,
I have a feeling you fantasized about this in the past.
not with your mom.
Oh, my mom and my mom twice.
No. I was inside,
Oh, okay. Ew.
and I ended up getting
Oh, my God.
your mom pregnant,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm your dad, even though I'm like the same age as you.
You're negative. Yeah, you were negative years at that point.
Yeah.
Wow. That's truly disgusting.
Mikey Teaches Anatomy is the name of this game.
Hello, God. Why is Mikey talking to me? This is horrifying.
Hello, God. Please make Mikey stop talking to me. So the idea came from Brian Fargo. He was the head of Interplay at the time. He happened to be friends with a person I'm curious to know. And this is where the development of this game actually gets kind of fascinating. You may think Mario Teaches Typing, we're not going to get an interesting development story.
Probably not.
I think that you're wrong about that.
Oh my God. Let's go.
Tell me if you know this name, Les Crane.
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Les Crane was one of the hosts of Nightline. He was a talk show host.
Okay.
He had the new Les Crane show, which went head to head with Johnny Carson at one point.
Wow.
He had the mom of Lee Harvey Oswald on an episode debating a lawyer about her son's innocence. Just like he was like a talk show host, but a variety show host as well. He had a lot of ideas for media and news and how to make presentation. Like the idea of having two screens where people are talking to the camera, but side by side, so they're debating one another. That was what he was one of the people who helped pioneer that. Crossfire. Yeah. And so we owe a lot to Les Crane.
Yeah, I think Les Crane ruined society.
I think he may have. But he didn't when he came up with the idea.
Yeah.
Mavis Beacon teaches typing.
Les Crane came up with Mavis Beacon?
He developed the game, not just came up with the idea. He developed the game. Mavis Beacon teaches typing, kind of like an all-timer. This guy, he's got a lot of things, a lot of plates spinning. But this guy Brian Fargo was friends with Les Crane, who obviously created, developed Mavis Beacon teaches typing, and eventually, I guess, got some advice from Les Crane and had some ideas on licensing from Nintendo Mario to make a game very similar to Mavis Beacon teaches typing, and that's what became Mario teaches typing.
Wow!
So that's how we get to where we are. Mario teaches typing was the first ever Mario game released outside of a Nintendo piece of hardware.
So they paid for the licensing rights for Mario?
They did.
Wow.
From Nintendo.
How much would those cost?
Pretty penny, Andrew.
I'd say so.
Actually, I wonder, honestly, at the time, if they were incredibly expensive, because this is around the era where you have like the Philips CDI making Mario games and Zelda games. Like Nintendo was a lot less protective over their licenses at this time. There were other games around the same era that featured Mario on a computer game or something along those lines, and eventually led to the downfall of Interplay because of that, which I'll get to in a second.
Okay.
After the release of the game, though, Fargo attended a taping, Brian Fargo, the head of Interplay, taping of Les Crane's show, who, according to Brian Fargo, the whole time Les Crane was like giving him stink eye from the stage. Brian goes up to him afterwards, he's like, what's going on? Like, are we cool? We cool, bro? And Les Crane was upset with Brian because the game became so successful that it ended up competing with Mavis Beacon Teaches Typing.
Oh!
Yeah. Mario Teaches Typing sold 800,000 units eventually, which at that time was pretty impressive.
You know who Les Crane should have used to make sure he got the money back?
Fraser?
His brother Niles. His brother Niles Crane, who's a lawyer canonically.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, Niles is a lawyer.
And he could have smeared Brian's good name on radio.
No.
Someone calls in
slander,
talk about their tossed salad and scrambled eggs, and Fraser Crane is just like, you know what? You sound as crazy as that Brian Fargo fucker over there. Yeah.
Classic Seattle radio. Very blue.
So the CD-ROM version of this game was actually voiced by Charles Martinet.
No, really?
Which is wild, because when I was booting up the game to kind of make sure it was all working and everything, I heard Mario's voice and I was like, who the fuck was that? Because that is not Mario. And he was just figuring out his character. He did say though that Mario Teaches Typing was one of his favorite projects he's ever worked on.
Of course.
I first read that and I was like, you're making that shit up. You gave some poor journalist an interview, but he actually contextualized it in a way that made sense to me. Mario, the Mario we know, is a constant positive figure. Yes. It was one of the themes of the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Yes. Mario is always positive. He's got heart. He's good to go. There is none of that in the 2D Mario prior to Mario's voice, because he doesn't have voice lines. He's just a guy who continues to run left to right. Charles Martinet, in the development and the recording and the writing of this game, clued into the fact that Mario is always going to be positive. So much so that the game was originally written where, like, if you mess up, Mario was supposed to say, like, oh, you failed.
God damn it.
God damn it. We got to do that again.
I have children to feed. I'm illiterate.
Does he?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's the best part. He is whatever you want him to be.
And I want him to be full of children.
Oh, well, he is.
He is. Yeah. Hey, God, it's me, Mario.
So we shouldn't get so mad at Chris Pratt. He only had a year to figure out his character. Charles Martinet had like years
and several games that we've never heard of.
Yeah, moderately successful games.
Yeah. So Charles Martinet, when he started to understand Mario's unending positivity, rewrote some of the lines so that instead of saying like, you failed, he would say like, oh, you almost had it. Get them next time. Like that positivity. And he said in voicing Mario for this game, he learned the happiness of Mario and how that is such a central part of his character. And I think, honestly, I don't know, what are your thoughts on Charles Martinet as like a figure in the games industry?
I don't know if I have a full opinion on him. I think I've heard that he is a little hungry. Like
Maybe.
he likes to put himself in the spotlight a lot.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think it's more like, I think a lot of people downplay him because they're like, well, you voiced one character, and sure, he's an iconic character, but like, how much did you bring this guy to life?
Well, like that's what I was gonna say. It's like he doesn't do full lines really ever. You know what I mean? And it's not like
he does in this game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
But you know, hearing things like this and knowing that he would have been working with people at Nintendo and their licensing and developing this version of Mario that is so like, we don't even think about it. That's Mario.
Yeah.
But that wasn't always the case. And to see that he actually had a hand in that, I'm like, you know, maybe we do owe him a little bit more credit than we did. Yeah.
Wow. Good for you.
I think so. Possible. Coming around. So there was also this interesting thing here about I mentioned the CD-ROM games. Soon after the release of this game, Interplay, or a few years after the release of this game, Interplay lost the license to build Nintendo games.
Okay.
And Brian Fargo says it's because there was another PC game, Nintendo game released on PC that was not good. It was very poorly received.
Not good.
And that's when Nintendo did what they did with the original Super Mario Bros. Movie and said, you know what, no more of this shit. We're closing the doors for a little bit.
And this doesn't exist anymore.
And it doesn't
Technically, no one will ever see this.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So they shut down licensing to PC games and they said, sorry, Interplay, but like, you're just baby in the bathwater. We're just not giving our license out. And then Nintendo notoriously got very stingy with their licenses. But it got me wondering, like, what would the game have been that Nintendo eventually decided to shutter the doors on? I've got a couple options that we can consider.
We don't know for sure.
We don't know for sure.
But it's one we think.
We think. And this isn't a joke. I should have had some joke entries in here, but they're not. Mario is Missing came out in 1993.
Okay.
A notoriously terrible game, but that was also, I believe, on the NES or Super NES.
Is Mario in that game?
Luigi is.
Oh, because he's trying to find Mario.
He's got to find Mario.
Okay, that makes sense.
Got to find him.
Yeah.
Mario's Game Gallery, which came out in 95, there was like a back game. It was basically like a collection of games, like one of those Microsoft Game Packs kind of things.
Yeah.
But just with Mario licensed in it. Or Mario's Early Years, which was a game released in 1993 that was also on the CD-ROM. So who knows? I don't know which one it would have been, but a PC game. I'm sure the answer's out there on the internet somewhere, but I couldn't seem to find it.
Is that the introduction of Baby Mario? Early Years?
Oh, it should have been.
That's pretty good.
It should have been.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always love the story about why Baby Mario makes that sound in Yoshi's Island.
Wait, why is that?
Because they found that if it didn't make an incredibly annoying scream, that the people playing the game would just leave the baby. Like they had to make it so that you felt an urge to pick it up.
Okay.
To shut it up. Smother it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's a good idea.
Kind of worked.
Yeah, it very much did. So Andrew, those are kind of that's the background on Mario Teaches Typing. We obviously don't have any experience playing the game because we're Mavis Beacon heads.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Hey, we were loyal.
We were, and we'll die loyal
to MB and Les Crane.
I'm honest, and Les Crane.
Yeah. More Crane.
More Crane.
More Crane for all I count. Yeah. Like yeah.
We all crane for more Crane. Is that a thing? Probably not. I'll talk to Les Crane about that live on TV. The new Les Crane show. Even the name of that
blew my mind when you said that. I'm glad we're talking about it because the new Les Crane show, people are like, oh, not this old bullshit.
Very much ahead of his time. Yeah,
he really did. If he must have been an old man at that point. There's no way they put a 20-year-old on television on the new Les Crane show.
He died in 2008 at the age of 78, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So no. Yes, he would have been quite old at that point.
Yeah.
Especially with the introduction of video games. People usually that age disregarded it completely.
Yeah.
Instead, he was like, I have an idea.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
It's very cool. And he just seemed to be the kind of person who was constantly, maybe we'll do an episode on him. Who the fuck knows?
You know what? Sounds like a pretty good mushroom club.
Yeah, honestly. Underrated people in the video game industry.
Oh, I love this. And we just keep throwing names at each other?
I love it. Love it.
This.
Don't
Okay.
throw that name so fast. So why don't we do this, Andrew?
Okay.
We've talked to tears about this game. I'm bored as fuck. I can't wait to play Mario Teaches Typing.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on how this game is actually? Where are your expectations at? Walk me through what you think is going to happen when we actually sit down and play this game.
You know what? Okay, so Typing the Dead is another one that I was thinking about in my head a little bit, of these kind of teaching you how to spell, teaching you how to write with a keyboard, because also at the time,
write with a keyboard?
I think it was self-explanatory.
I mean,
I'm not wrong.
Self-explanatory in the sense that yourself has to explain to us what you meant by that.
Once again, I'm not wrong. But technically, it's not right. How about that? Let's just compromise. Okay, and we shook hands. And so, you know what? I like the ways that early video games, especially the ones from the 90s that you and I kind of grew up playing, were tricking you into learning stuff.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Carmen Sandiego was actually a geography game, and you're like, what? Yeah, I know.
What the fuck?
I know.
Hang on.
Yeah.
I gotta call my mom.
Yeah.
Hello?
Did you say mom?
It's me. Mario. No, Mikey.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Not her favorite son.
Mom, you know that game that you bought me when I was... No, not BMXXXX. But I do appreciate you buying that for me.
It taught me so much. That was the male equivalent of, hey, God, it's me, Margaret. BMX XXX. I learned everything I need to know about sex. Sorry,
that's
you're talking to
Andrew.
your mom.
No, that's Andrew.
Yeah.
Do you want me to tell him you say hi? Okay, no, she doesn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, jeez.
Carmen Sandiego was an educational game?
What's she saying? This is an audio podcast. What'd she say? He looks shocked. I'm just going to say. He looks so surprised.
Okay, bye.
Oh, she hung up on you? What'd she say?
She said, never mind that. Andrew's a piece of shit.
What the fuck?
Don't tell him I say hi. Tell him I say get a life.
Yeah, well.
What does she mean by that?
She's not wrong.
She says, tell your mom I say hi as well.
Oh, no. Is this a... Don't bring it back to that horrible visual I can't
No, and then she just started saying snip, snip, snip.
Snip, snip, snip. Yeah, is this a scissors thing again?
I don't know.
Oh,
what, you tell me what she meant.
I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't have any ideas, and I don't want to speak about this.
I just got a text.
No. Oh, Jesus. Oh, this is gonna be good. Oh, good. You're bringing out your phone.
Yeah, no, it's from my mom.
Oh, it is. Okay, good. She was just on the phone with you, but yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. She says it is a scissors thing.
God damn it. I was not gonna ask.
Okay. Well, she said to make sure you knew it. She sent me a picture.
No,
I'm
good. You can post it on the Retrograde Pod.
Okay.
On Twitter. So we're gonna, one of those things is like to teach you educational purposes of games. I'm all for this. We always talk about the trappings. It's the Pokemon Snap corollary. If there are trappings that we like, there's a setting that we like. Sure. You could do a lot of horrible things. I'm like, it's pretty good. Look
at R. Kelly.
Well, okay, wow. Art and artists, right? Just like Jordan Martin.
No, but I know what you mean. It's you take the dressing of something you like, and then the mechanics themselves almost don't matter.
I feel like you're working against me there that whole time. You're like, I'm going to ask you a question. You're like, I don't want to hear this answer though. None whatsoever.
It wasn't me.
It was your mom.
I had to call her.
You had to call your mother.
You're the one who told me that there was Carmen Sandiego was an educational game.
Yeah.
Which she could neither confirm nor deny.
And then you immediately had to. How do I get the feeling that often when you get big news, you're like, I got to talk to my mom here?
Well, I mean, you've been with me for most of the big news I've received.
That's true. That's true. It's usually me giving it to you. Yeah. No, honestly, I think this game is going to be okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be bad because what is it? Not going to teach me spelling?
Sure.
Or
it's not spelling. Yeah. It's writing on a keyboard.
It's writing on a keyboard. It's signatures on a keyboard. Is it going to teach me how to write on a keyboard? Yes, probably. Is it going to have an adorable Mario character doing it? Yes. Well, how bad could that be?
True.
Famous last words.
Maybe, but I'm kind of with you.
Yeah.
I'm like, how bad can this be? Now, here's one thing that I do struggle with games like this.
Yeah.
In the early levels, if it is typing A or S or D or like just little letters and symbols, I think that's a bad way to teach typing.
Okay.
Because it isn't in the, like I can type a word faster than I can find where Q is on the keyboard. You know what I mean? Like it's like,
how is that possible?
It's kind of like, I use Q as an example, but say you're like, okay, point where exactly on a keyboard T is.
Right.
Like, but sometimes you forget it and you have to look down. But it's like when you have to enter your password.
Yeah.
And if you have to say it out loud, you can't do it. But the motion of typing, it's beyond words. It's beyond word recognition. It's just a motion that is my password. Do you have that ever with you?
I get what you're saying, but like I get what you're saying. Like if you're gonna type it might be easier than finding T.
Yes.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
And we're going to play through as many levels as we can. I kind of can't wait to play this. I'm excited to see this curious sideshow of Nintendo's licensing proclivities from way back in the day. Andrew, anything else to say before we get back to the game?
Let's go.
So if you're going to join us over on our YouTube channel, you can find the gameplay and we'll tell you all about that at the break. Otherwise, we'll see you on the other side in 2 shakes of a Mario's gloved finger.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to go Tanuki Tail.
Record, Elliot.
Oh boy.
In 2 shakes of a Tanuki tail. I made it better for you.
Too much.
Tanuki much. Hey, D-pads, want to watch this week's gameplay segment where we play a portion of today's game and provide video commentary while doing it? All of our gameplay segments are available for free at youtube.com/The Retrograde Podcast. Make sure to subscribe and maybe leave us a like and comment while you're there. And while you're here, why not drop us a rating or review on your podcast platform of choice? It only takes you a moment, but it helps us out immensely and lets us know you appreciate us as much as we appreciate you. You can still join us on our Patreon for $5 US per month at patreon.com/The Retrograde Podcast for monthly bonus episodes such as drafts, spoiler casts, top 10 lists, and take some suggestions from the community, both gaming and non-gaming related. Plus, make sure to follow us on all our social media channels. It's at Retrograde Pod on Twitter and TikTok, or at The Retrograde Podcast on Instagram. We're also available on Twitter at Retrograde Mikey and at Retrograde Andy. Finally, reach out to us with any business inquiries or questions and comments you'd like us to read on air at theretrogradepodcast@gmail.com. We'll see you all on the other side.
And welcome back to the Retrograde.
I just typed something out and I emailed it to you. You want to check your phone?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let me get my phone here. Okay. It's got a ton of errors in it. Wait.
Sorry.
What is it supposed to say?
I don't remember how to spell scissors, but I figured
Jesus Christ.
how many C's are in it? That's my problem.
How many C's are in it? 1.
Okay, that's definitely where I messed up.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Okay, I wish you wouldn't talk about our mothers like that. Okay. We just played Mario Teaches Us Typing, which is what
teaches
us typing. It's personal.
Mario teaches Mikey and Andrew typing.
The Retrograde presents Mario Teaches Andrew and Mikey Typing. And now we know typing.
Now it's amazing we've made it this far, 5 years of podcasting, and we never had to learn how to type before.
No.
Our episode descriptions have been fucked up. I don't want to be crass, but they've been fucked up. I've just been mashing my face on the keyboard and hoping the episode goes live. I don't know if anyone's heard this podcast before.
It's king size Homer stuff of mashing your fat paw against the keyboard, you know. It's really incredible. We learned how to spell retrograde, which was exciting.
Yes.
Mikey, we kind of talked about this. Go over to YouTube to see us go play the game, but we kind of talked about it. This is a hard game to review.
It's a hard game to review because it's very similar to the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Very bare bones. I'm amazed that we filled a full hour and a half on talking about the Mario movie. We're definitely not going to be able to fill an hour and a half talking about Mario Teaches Typing. It's, like we said, 3 levels. Each of the levels vary only in the sense that the symbols, the letters, symbols, words, or sentences will change depending on whether you choose to add the home row, top row, bottom row, or all the keyboard. Yeah. And that's about it.
You're more of a bottom row guy.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm a fat bottom row.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. You're more of a skid row guy.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Ugh, Little Shop of Horrors is my favorite. But yeah, so you add more to it to add more vocabulary, more options into there. And so it pretty much goes down to 3 levels, right? Like we were talking about earlier.
Yep.
The first level is all about just single letters.
Yes.
Single letters.
X.
Yeah.
Occasionally KKK.
Yeah,
that came up more often than I was expecting.
But it's baseball style where the last K is flipped.
It is. It's flipped.
And then it makes it all okay.
Yeah.
The second one is words, but very rudimentary words.
Yes.
Repeated.
Sad, dad, lad, fad.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Josh Gad.
Yeah, Josh Gad. He's in everything.
Olaf.
Please clap. And then the last one is full sentences, clearly a paragraph. And we just kept going over and over again. The history of the NFL.
Yeah. The early history of the NFL and the AFC.
Well, that was one of the original leagues, AFC
Yeah.
and the NFC. That's why the Super Bowl.
Well,
between
it's
the two leagues.
What was
Did you read it at all?
No, it was the NFL.
Yes.
Was very successful.
Yes.
But then it had some competition.
Yeah, the
The
AFC.
AFL.
Yeah,
AFL.
Oh yeah, the AFL. You're right.
Did you read it at all?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that is one of the issues with this whole game, which is the premise is type as fast as you can the words or symbols that are coming at you. Unless you're watching someone play the game,
Yeah.
you don't know that you're Mario playing the game.
No.
Although,
Hmm.
if you're a child, in which I am at heart, and everyone says it,
Absolutely.
oh, mommy, mommy.
That is
Pretty
a common
natural,
refrain.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Daddy, daddy.
You already called your mom on this podcast already.
yeah,
so
yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah. Well, do you want me to call her again?
No.
I'm sure she has some more stuff to tell you.
No. She got the phone pretty fast, so I don't think she wants you to call her back.
Yeah, no, she did say that. I did try to call her during the break. Number was blocked. It was very
Okay.
awkward. No, the if you're a child playing this game, maybe your goal is not to type as fast as you can. Maybe your goal is actually to break blocks and jump on turtles. And if that's the case, you are looking at the background, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
So you're kind of like, I want to break that block. X. I want to break that.
Okay, you're right. That's a good point because in the first level, you are looking at Mario. You
Yes.
are looking at the background currently because that is what's telling you what letter you need to press.
Yes.
But from there on out, it's just words above the Mario screen.
That's true.
It's almost like a modern TikTok thing where like something is happening on the top thing and it's bottom one is a guy running on the subway tracks.
Honest, this is going to sound like I'm making an old man joke or something like that. One of the things that scares me the most about this coming generation is the fact that in order to keep someone's attention for a minute, you need to have 3 videos going on in one TikTok.
Okay, I always thought it was a trademark thing. No?
No,
Oh.
no, it's like here's like a video game where there's a bike going down a track or
Yeah.
like a car going down a track, and then here is like a weird soap getting cut, and then there's a person talking about something.
Yeah.
It's just to make it so that you're satisfied. Your eyes are satisfied for the minute
Jesus.
it takes to consume that media.
I am so one of those people. I clearly have trouble focusing on anything.
Yeah.
I am so
Hey.
What's up? Where the hell are we?
Andrew, you've been talking about video games for the last minute. I didn't even know you knew anything about video games.
What? Which video game?
Mario teaches typing?
Oh yeah, 100%. Oh god, yeah. I can see why I lost interest here. No, is that you kind of you move off of the screen immediately,
Yeah.
and Mario becomes a very incredibly secondary thing. I think secondary is even being nice
Yes.
to the typing. And it's not even like Mario's taking steps with every letter you press. It seems to be that you get through huge sentences and then he takes 2 steps.
So this is you're talking about the 3rd level where
Yes.
they call it underground, but it's Bowser's lair.
Bowser's-
It's weird that they call it underground.
This is over and over again. We keep talking about this.
Yeah.
It is like off-brand Mario. Like
Yeah.
somebody that was didn't know anything about Mario was
Yes.
like, underground thing? Yeah.
This game is to Mario as Zelda on the Philips CDI is to Link. Like it's a weird cartoony interpretation of Mario, which was passed by Nintendo's licensing team at that time because they didn't realize how important it would be to protect their brand.
Yeah.
And obviously they've moved past that at this point. But when you're talking about that underground thing, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Mario is just sitting there with some weird face off with one of the spike blocks.
Yeah.
Just sitting there looking at it as you type about the NFL.
Yeah.
And the AFL.
In the AFL, very good. Green Bay Packers.
And how
defeat
the Green Bay
Kansas
Packers,
City.
35-10.
Yeah, very good. In the first Super Bowl.
And,
We learned that.
And then in the second bowl,
1967.
Green Boy,
Green Boy.
Green Boy,
Which is Luigi.
Green Boy, Luigi.
I was thinking about off-brand because I was thinking like, what would you call them? It's like Matt and Larry. I just thinking them like Matt and Larry.
Matt and Larry. The Wish.com Mario team. Yeah. But you're right. There wouldn't be a point in looking at the screen while you're typing the NFL stuff because Mario's not even moving.
No, and it's so like nothing and then a little bit.
Yeah.
It would make more sense. So like the big blocks are coming down. Everyone knows what we're talking about if you played a Mario game.
Yeah.
And he's kind of
The
timing.
thwomps or whatever
The
they call
thwomps,
them,
yes. And he's timing it out. Like, do I go now? Do I go now? It would make sense of like 10 seconds to write this sentence.
Yes.
You're like, bah, 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 boom. But instead it's so continuous. It
Yeah.
just doesn't matter.
No, it's almost as though it would be kind of like Dragon's Lair, like the game Dragon's Lair, where a cartoon is going on. And every so often you just have to press a button and then the cartoon continues in either a success or a failure. It's like the image of Mario moving only happens when you type a certain amount of words, but the correlation, like the mechanics of getting Mario from one point to another there is no correlate. The lack of correlation.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. Then Mario goes in silver pipes. They're not green.
Yeah. Sand, quicksand,
which is just in Bowser's castle hanging out.
Yeah.
It feels like Bizarro Mario World.
It does. No, it's like broken telephone Mario.
Yes.
If I or you're in green again, which thank you for respecting the Luigi stereotype. Is that I obviously ate a flower, so that's why I'm in white.
That's true.
Is that if you told an artist what you thought about Mario, and then that artist told another artist, and it went about 10 down the line, you'd get something kind of like this. The main character looks relatively the same, but everything else around it is just slightly off.
The one I would point to the most is the second level is a water level. That's the one where you're typing the words, and you're just trying to stay ahead of the enemies in the water. And you pointed out, you're like, why is... Anemones, the sea anemones. Yeah. One of them is an octopus, and you're like, why? Mario's never had to run away from an octopus before. And the other is like the Mario fish, but it's like an anime version of the Mario fish. It's not like a pixel art. Yeah. And it's strange to get used to these new versions of Mario, but I guess that's all we're given at the time. They probably didn't think that in order for us to respond to the Mario that we know, they would have to give us the Mario that we know, because I guess that Mario also hadn't been established really at that point.
Yeah.
And they probably thought that they were improving upon Mario by making it more of a children's cartoon than an 8-bit like sprite.
Okay, and it's early enough that to think that is not like crazy. It is crazy to think that now.
Yes.
But then it's like, well, okay. Yeah. We could probably help here. Other thing is, it's at the heart of this, you also wonder how much they care. It's a licensed, game in which they are trying to teach people typing. How close they get to Mario was probably not a top priority.
But we can't read their minds. But the music,
I tried
and
failed.
I tried to type their minds.
Yeah, Les Crane is
a lot
dead,
of errors.
So I had to go to a medium and whatever.
The music, apart from a couple very, very bad additions,
very bad.
The music is good.
Yeah, you were saying this during the gameplay.
The famous Mario music is in this game.
Yes.
Koji Kondo has his hands all over this.
His master hands
all over this. The problem is they've made some decisions, or I guess had to work with the technology of a CD-ROM using like sound cards and stuff, where they have like like the Super Mario Bros. Theme. Like, great, I love it. But then they add this like bell to it, like ding 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 ding.
And it just hits you right in the back of the head.
It's the loudest. I feel nauseous when I hear it.
100%. I think I became the Winter Soldier. I was activated because of it.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
But isn't that kind of the thesis of this game? They took something which on its own is great, and they added something to it which makes it uncomfortable.
That's actually perfect. Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Well, with that said, Andrew, I don't know how much more we can talk about this game, apart from the fact that I was a faster typer, and the world needs to know it.
No argument here. I was more accurate than you,
but much slower.
So what do you? It's a tortoise and hare situation.
That's true. I would rather be the hare 10 times out of 10 though.
Oh, 100%. The hare's so cool, and they're trying to teach you something. And the only thing I learned was, man, the hare's awesome.
Hare is awesome.
Yeah. And you know what he taught us? It's not always about winning, guys.
No, it's not. It's about having fun along the way.
It's about having fun. And no one had more fun than the hare.
No one had more fun than the hare.
He had a fucking nap. That's awesome. I hope I could just have a nap and not care about who wins.
Picture this.
Yeah.
Starting pistol goes off.
Yeah.
Everyone sprints off. Usain Bolt, he's just waving to the crowd.
Yeah.
And he still ends up finishing second place.
Yeah, right.
I'm taking that Usain Bolt thing all day.
Also, you've left the race.
Uh-huh.
And you're all like talking, you probably lost some money because everyone took the hare, heavy favorite.
Of course.
And you'd be like, wow, good job on the tortoise, it won. Absolutely. But nobody would make the argument, well, the hare was the fastest guy, right? No one would be like, the tortoise is definitely faster. No one's making that argument.
It would be like a boxer who is so much better than his opponent, beat the shit out of him, knocked him down 10 times.
Yeah.
Not 3 times around.
No.
But there was a standing 8 count a couple of, that he got bored and just said, I'm leaving the ring now. And everyone was like, well, the boxer who got the shit kicked out of him technically wins.
Yeah.
Well, sure, but he was not the better boxer.
I don't think anyone is doubting that the hare is definitely the fastest.
And the better boxer.
Yeah. Yeah, and the better boxer.
Yeah.
And probably
Probably tastes better too. And luckier feet. Definitely luckier feet.
Yeah.
But turtle stew is pretty good.
Yeah,
Not lucky though.
No.
Oh my God. With turtle stew, can you just like cook it upside down, put it upside down, make it drink a bunch of water and cook it that way?
Yeah, cook it in the shell.
Yeah, it would be like a Yorkshire pudding or something.
Oh, yes, it would.
And then I ate the bowl.
It comes with its own vessel of serving.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
That's
its own
great.
house, its way of death.
Yes.
It's really remarkably compact animal. Hey, God, thank you for turtles. It's me, Margaret.
It's me. I'm out of here. Speaking of turtles and killing them, let's get to our reviews of Mario Teaches Typing. Now, if you're new to this podcast or you forget the old format, I'm going to run it down for you. Typically, what we do, as we mentioned, is we take a look back at a game that we used to play when we were kids. We haven't played this game. So what we're going to do is we're going to give this game a rating out of 4 bits each based on what we think we would have thought about it had we played it back when it first came out in 1992. So, Andrew, you start us off with your review.
Okay.
Your retro score out of 4 bits. What would little Dinky Andy have thought about this game if he played it sitting in his diaper, pissing and shitting all over the place while his mom's off in the corner scissoring someone?
What an image. What an image that you're painting about my childhood.
And you were painting images with the feces from the diaper.
Yeah, that's of course I was, Mike. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, out of 4 bits, what I would have thought. Okay, it's weird. I have all these weird nostalgic memories and sexual fantasies about Mavis Beacon. And that was nothing.
No.
That was just literally going like, hey, you're done school. Do you want more school? And you're like, and I yet have a warm feeling towards that game. Of course I would have liked this game, even though the connection between the actual theming and the game is really disconnected, really loose. But yet, I don't care. It's a little bit more familiar than what Mavis Beacon would have been. So I would have liked it. But is it nakedly anything more than just teaching me to type? No. I think I would have been competitive with the Blackboard scene of the errors and the percentages of word per minute and things like that. But I don't think I would have been like obsessed with this game. I'm going to give it 2.5 out of 4.
2.5. I like that. The thing that you said that interests me is is Mavis Beacon.
Yeah.
I played this game. I don't know if it wasn't Mavis Beacon. It was called All the Right Type. That was everyone had their typing game that they played, quote unquote game. There was no game involved in All the Right Type. It was just type and get a score.
Yeah.
Holy shit, if my computer lab had this game instead of that game.
Yeah.
I would, because I still remember All the Right Type. I have fond memories of it. And it, like you said, was just homework. That was it. Imagine giving homework the dressing of Mario, something I already had to do, but I could feel like I'm playing video games while I'm at school. I would have fucking adored it.
Yeah.
Now, it's not something I would have played instead of the original Mario or Mario Bros or something like that. So I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 4.
Okay.
Because I think I really would have appreciated it. And similar to what we talked about with the Super Mario Bros movie, this game is not for you and me. This game is for kids. And I think if kids...
Or people learning to type.
Especially back in the early 90s. If this were released back then and this was everyone's first experience with a typing game, I think it would have gone gangbusters. And it's 800,000 units it sold. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
So Andrew, now you're going to give it the review out of 4 bits based on how the game holds up in the modern day against the likes of modern games, like your Fortnites and like your MLB The Show 23. Well, you ever going to reach for this instead of Fortnite?
Get the hell out of the way, modern games. Mario Teaches Typing to Andrew and Andy.
Yeah.
Me twice. Okay, this is impossible. How in the world do we rank this? The thing is, also, quick fix, Mario Teaches Typing. You know what you should have done is the main sentence should have been a story about Mario. Then I would have been like, Mario traveled to the, Mushroom Castle.
That would have been great.
Whoa, okay, wait, now I'm in.
But they're trying to shoehorn in knowledge of something. Like there's one about the the Declaration of Independence.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, if it was something like that, I would totally understand. But I'm just to draw it together because, like I said earlier, the biggest issue is it's really not a Mario game. It is a typing game that has pictures of Mario.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much where it ends.
Yep.
So the other one is, I can't give it a 0 because does it teach you typing? Well, hypothetically, it is a word processor that tells you how accurate you were at the end. It tells you words per minute. Okay, well, that's pretty good. After that, it gets a little rough because it's just pretty much nothing about a Mario game. It's like we were saying earlier, the Mario moving across the screen doesn't even work. Really, as compared to what you were typing in there. So, like, it does teach somebody typing, but it's not really a Mario game. It's barely a game. 1 out of 4.
Yeah, I struggle with this one. And I think there's an argument to be made that this should be 5.5 out of 4.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing that I struggle with games like this is it is a museum piece to me. It exists in a state of Mario that doesn't exist anywhere else, and it's a real game. It's like something to be studied. Now, does that make it fun? No. It's not something I'm ever going to want to play, but I almost respect it for being something that is entirely non-existent anywhere else in the realm of video games. How that factors into the score, I don't know. I'm kind of talking my way through it, but I think if I'm ever to teach myself how to get better at typing, I'm not reaching for this game because it's not a good way to do that. The 3 levels get boring very fast.
Oh my God, yeah.
I could almost imagine. I can imagine there being a Wordle style game, not Wordle, but a game that you play once a day that teaches you how to get better at typing. That is much more addictive than this game. And that is something I would pick up, but this does not draw me in at all. The only redeeming quality is the fact that you get this encased in amber example of what a licensed Mario game used to look like, but that isn't enough to get anything more than, like you said, a 1 out of 4. So
1 out of 4 for you as well?
Yep.
Oh, that's a combined a 7 out of 16. Hypothetically, better than I thought.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm not gonna lie. After playing the game, before playing the game, I'm like, ooh, that's pretty low.
Yeah.
After playing the game, I'm like, oh, 7 out of 16. Okay.
I kind of expected it to be higher, to be honest.
Okay.
I just thought that the mechanics were going to be so timeless that it's like, how could these not work?
Yeah.
But you know, just like at the end of any of these levels, we have to go to the chalkboard and see what kind of the stats and awards that you got, and we have to see what awards this game won. It was, as you mentioned, a 7.5 out of 16 total, a 7.5.
Wait, what? What are you saying?
7.5 out of 16. It's been a while since I've had to read this spreadsheet.
Excuse me, I got the math wrong. It's 7.5.
7.5 out of 16. Retro score was a 5.5, and the current score was a 2. Let's see if that warrants this any awards. Andrew, are you ready to make this trip over to the red carpet? It's been a while since we've done it.
I can't wait. We haven't. It's all dusty. Oh my God.
I'm gonna type out the instructions for you. Okay.
Okay, good. Also, the only way we can move down the red carpet is by typing.
That's true. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll type and you move forward, and then we'll see.
Here we
else.
go.
You've been waiting for it all year. The most glamorous award ceremony of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, the Grady's.
Okay, here we go, Andrew. I typed you over there, and sorry for all those errors.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it just kept false starting.
Again, I don't remember how many C's are in scissors, and that's what this issue is all about.
It's amazing how many times that's coming up.
It's amazing. Here we are on the red carpet.
Elliot!
It's fantastic to be here. Elliot shows up in it's clearly from the costume shop, that Mario costume.
Yeah.
It's like very cheap. You've seen all your frat boy friends show up being like, wouldn't it be funny to be dressed as Mario for Halloween?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You suck.
Elliot, it's good to see you. We haven't talked to you on the podcast in a while. Elliot, obviously our producer. Why don't you reach into that giant front pocket of yours like a kangaroo's pouch Mario has on his overalls and show us the envelope. Tell us what awards this game won. Wow. Don't know if I expected that.
Yeah.
You expect a game like this to fail big, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, fail big going like, yeah, that was a 1 out of 16. That sucked or whatever.
Yeah.
But, unfortunately, the problem is it's a typing game that has the facade of Mario, but really just it's not baked in there.
No, it's not baked in there. And unfortunately, no secondary awards are baked in as well. But we do have these envelopes that Elliot's passing us for some custom awards that have been made for this game. Okay. Do you have your envelope there?
I got my envelope here. Let me open it up. Okay. I can go first.
Sure,
Shall we
go first. Yeah.
Okay. It's called Here We Go Award.
Oh,
that's weird.
That's a weird award.
Let me read the description. Here we go. Let's forget we've ever played this game.
Oh,
it's not memorable. Not memorable.
Oh,
yeah.
Let's
Here we go.
Let's
forget this game.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Let's
like collectively all together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the description of it. So what is it? What is the here we go bit? He's like, on your marks, get set.
Yeah,
let's
collectively,
forget.
Let's all forget together.
Let's go a forget.
Yeah. Like it's kind of like a Stand By Me situation. Let's forget we killed that guy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Or, maybe it should have been the Men in Black award. I didn't write it, so I don't know.
Yeah,
Bring it up with Elliot. I don't know.
Elliot and one of our
This
fans,
sucks.
one of our fans submitted awards for this
bad.
game. That's shit. I've got mine. It's the baguette filet award.
Wow, that's weird.
It's a mistyped big fail. It says.
Oh.
Huh.
Huh.
Interesting.
So it didn't teach you typing at all, I guess.
And then it says, let's go forget all about this game.
Oh, you know why? It's because it forgot. Because it forgot from this award.
Oh.
And then it's just in a constant loop of forgetting from your own. It's a history doomed to repeat ourselves situation. Oh, good throw. Okay, wow. We played Mario Teaches Typing.
Yeah.
You know, another classic Mario game for the month of Mario that we're doing.
Do you think, honest question, are you a better typist now than you were before you played this game?
I think it's, wow. No. What am I supposed to say? Yes? No, I don't think I am.
Okay.
Do you think you are?
Much better.
Wow.
Yeah, I've improved.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good job.
I just don't know how to spell scissors. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's one day we'll figure that out. Maybe next week, Mario teaches syntax or something like that, and we can go from there. But yeah, who knows what next will bring in the month of Mario?
Who knows what next will bring?
Who knows what next will bring? That sounded poetic in my mind.
I like it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Big news next week. That's all we can say.
Big news next week.
And there was a hint at what we're doing somewhere in this episode that we dropped for you guys.
So listen to it about 6 or 7 times to find out which one that is. And until then, we love every single one of you, and we can't wait to talk to you soon. My name's Andrew Bascom. It's a me, Andrew Bascom. And with me, as always, is the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself. It's a you,
A Mikey Aaron.
This is the Retrograde Podcast.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
I don't remember how to spell scissors.